Young Turks, brought to you by Busted Tees. Go to bustedtees.com and enter promo code Young Turks to get 10% off your order.
All these states saying, hey, you know what? Oh, we got budget problems, etc. Gee, I wonder why you have budget problems. Look at what's happening. In Florida, $4 billion in tax cuts to corporations and in property taxes. And then what does Governor Rick Scott do? He cuts education by $3 billion. So, yeah, you're going to need to cut education by $3 billion. And of course, that goes towards teachers and other public employees, and their pensions are also under threats. So the middle class gets crunched, education gets crunched, because Rick Scott had to give away $4 billion to his rich friends in Florida. That was his campaign promise. That's why they gave him all the money to win that election. That's how our politics works. It's not just Florida. Look, in Arizona, Jan Brewer is saying that she's going to cut Medicaid for 280,000 people, but she's got to save $541 million. That's why she's doing it. Now, why does she have to save that money? Because she's giving away $538 million in corporate tax breaks. Look, the corporations got to get paid, so if poor people or middle-class people got to get crunched, and 280,000 of them have to be kicked off of Medicaid, and if they get sick, well, too bad for them. Too bad. Corporations had to get bigger tax cuts in Arizona. And how about the seriously mentally ill? Well, Jan Brewer plans to save almost $80 million by kicking 5,200 of them off of the state's Medicaid program. They're seriously mentally ill. What are they supposed to do? You know what they're going to do? They're going to go out in the street. And then Republicans go, oh, look at these people in the street. The poor, they're the problem. Yeah, because they couldn't afford treatment. Because you had to give more in corporate tax cuts. But it's not just Florida and Arizona. Look at Michigan. Republican governor there says, I got to cut schools, universities, and local governments and just that category first, by $1.2 billion. And on top, he had to cut public employees' pays by $180 million. Now, what can he do? He's got budget problems, right? He had to make those cuts to your schools, whether they're local, community colleges, whatever it might be. He had to do it. Why did he have to do it? $1.8 billion in tax cuts for business. Corporations had to get paid. If your kid can't get an education, who cares? That's your problem. That's not the richest problem. That's not the top business's problem. You see how this is? This is a redistribution of income. You see it all over the country. Texas has something similar. So does Ohio. I'm giving you just some examples, and there's a dozen more of these, where what they do is they say, on the one hand, if you're seriously ill or you're mentally ill or you're on Medicaid or you're trying to get an education so you could be in that top 1% and enjoy all the luxuries, well, sad day for you. You're going to get crunched. But if you're a corporation or you're a big business, you're going to get a huge cut. That is Republican priorities for you. Why do you keep electing these guys? You think you're in the top 1%? If you are, okay, I get it. Vote Republican. I got it. But if you're in the other 99%, don't you want your kids to get an education? Don't you want them to have an opportunity? Do you want seriously mentally ill people in the streets when you're out in Arizona? I mean, come on, man. There's no sense of rhyme or reason to this. And then the hypocrites. Rick Scott in Texas says, I need to balance the budget, et cetera. And he calls it the Texas miracle. How did he do it? Of course, he kicked people off of Medicaid. He did accounting tricks, so in a 2-year window, and later the budget blows up. But my favorite part, he still had a budget gap. So you know what he did? He covered 97% of his budget gap with stimulus funds. Stimulus funds that he had lobbied against and said on TV, Obama and his stimulus money. How dare he? I can't believe it. And then he's like, gimme. And then he says, look, I balanced the budget. Yeah, with Obama's stimulus money that you claim to not want and that you despise. Hypocrites, liars, cheats. It is discouraging out there, man. But look, you vote Republican. This is what you get. And, all of you that voted Republican in all those states, you had it coming. And, sit there and revel in the top 1%, taking more and more and more of your money and thinking, oh, my God, we got him. And by the way, why do you think that they're doing all this stuff against the unions too. And did you notice Huckabee in the clip we played for you earlier, trying to split the public unions and the private unions? Now, there's some logic to that, and I've discussed it a million times on the show. But it's there, and he's not doing it for that. He even said it in the clip. He said, yeah, these guys contribute to Democrats, and I don't want that. I want to break the unions because of that, right? So in this case, it's not about that. It's about splitting you guys apart, whether it's public versus private unions or whether it's unions versus non-unions, right? They want you warring between yourselves and not noticing all the tax cuts going to the very, very top because they don't want you all united to know that the corporations are robbing you blind. They want you divided and fighting with yourself. Oh, no, but the union got a little more than I did. Oh, the public union got more, even if it's a lie. That's what they want you distracted with.
If you're looking for a cool t-shirt, all you have to do is go to bustedtees.com. Pop culture, politics, science fiction. Some of their t-shirts have been featured in movies like Knocked Up and in television shows like Scrubs. Their shirts are made in the United States and they're sweatshop free. So if you want to pick up one of these snazzy tees, all you have to do is go to bustedtees.com, enter promo code Young Turks, and you get 10% off your order.